Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. We commenced Meaningful Mornings on March 19th of 2020. And as soon as we commenced, I started to ask all of you to give your resources. I asked you to do this regularly. I was looking in my notes. It was only 10 days after, on March 29th, that I started to ask you to give your resources to the Raft, which is a youth shelter near where I live. Now, some of you may be thinking, you've been asking now for 33 months. But I'm asking you to think, haven't you been getting for 33 months? All of you who are working professionally, don't you keep getting a paycheck every week, every 2 weeks? Those of you who are not working professionally, suppose you're volunteering, isn't creation giving to you regularly? The reason why I ask you to give regularly is for you to realize that you're getting regularly, and that is the balanced way to live. If you only get regularly and don't give regularly, that is imbalanced. That is adharma. And that's why I am never hesitant to ask you or anyone for resources, because the giver is the one who is balancing their personality out. We commenced our effort for Elevate Her Story 3 10 days ago. This is a 40-day campaign. In 10 days, we have raised around $6,500. So 1/4 of our aspiration. So we're right on pace. If you've not given regularly, then try to reflect and resonate with what I'm sharing. I'm joining you from Stamford, Connecticut right now. As soon as I finish with all of you, then I'm on my way to New York City to speak at KPMG Global. And I was reflecting on this opportunity. The typical person likes what they do. And what they do that to raise resources for their family. Bigger house, bigger vacation. For myself, I love what I do. And I also raise resources, but not for my family, but rather for humanity. This year, when I spoke at Intel, they donated $4,000 to one tree planted. When I spoke to Granger, they donated $2,500 to the Brushwood Center. As I asked all of you to reflect on vibhutis, the greatness in your life, the opportunities I have To me, these are all vibhutis. This morning, I'm going to flow through a comprehensive review of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, and so on. But before I do so, I need all of you to pray. There are many people in our community who are not well physically. Anuradha's mother, Satish, Manaswini. Please close your eyes, feel your own health, and share this with those who need this right now. Sahana Vavatu. May all be safe from the inside out. Meaningful Mornings is an opportunity to be in the trust triangle. What is the trust triangle? It is God, Gita, Guru. And what's lovely about Meaningful Mornings that's zoomed into Bhagavad Gita, for us, God, Gita, Guru is all Sri Krishna. This trust triangle is trying to teach us Tattvamasi, that we are divine. And this is being taught through sections of Bhagavad Gita, the first focusing on karma, then bhakti, then jnana. Chapter 10 is in the bhakti section. Chapter 10 is entitled Vibhuti Yoga. Vibhuti in English is diversity. Yoga in English is unity. Both of these belong to Sri Krishna. He is joy. So the messaging is go from diversity to unity to joy. Verses 1 through 11, Sri Krishna is sharing that he is consciousness. This consciousness expresses as the greatest. And he's sharing this only with one who is great, like Prince Arjuna. What did the great do? They're always looking out for the greatest so they can become like that. In verses 12 through 18, we will complete 18 this morning, Prince Arjuna is sharing his reflections. Essentially, he's sharing, he's tired of being great. That's not enough. He wants to be the greatest, as in tune with the Creator, and then beyond. He has reflected on almost 400 verses of Bhagavad Gita. If you remember in chapter 2, near the end, Sri Krishna shares with Prince Arjuna that one whose intellect has become still, they become content. They become independently joyous. And when Sri Krishna shares this, then Prince Arjuna asks Sri Krishna, how does the independently joyous one think and speak and sit and walk? Prince Arjuna, he's a doer. So he's asking, what does the content person do? He's unable to tune into being. How is the content person? They're being. They don't need to do anything. And if they're doing anything, it's out of fulfillment. A similar sentiment is being shared in his reflections. He wants to see the one who's content. He wants to see this with his eyes because he's still a doer. He wants to know, what is the content person doing? What is lovely about his reflections, as I shared, he doesn't want to see greatness. He wants to see the greatest. For us, if we are like Prince Arjuna, we're no longer interested, no longer investing in pleasure, possession, position. That's great, but that's not enough. That one is interested, is investing in peace. He keeps using the word, I want to see you, because Prince Arjuna feels seeing is believing. If he sees this, he will believe this. And so though he uses words like parichintayan or chintayosi, teach me how I can think about you, the implication is, how do I see you? He will grow out of this notion of seeing is believing. He will grow into more faith. We are like Prince Arjuna in the sense, our nature's chit or awareness. What are we tuned into though? Not awareness, but articles. Our awareness is on articles, being, circumstances. When this chit is on something, it's called chittad. We're thinking. Prince Arjuna is the same way. Parichintayan, chintayosi. I want to think about the greatest. There is a limitation in how he's approaching this. In the next chapter, Sri Krishna will share, Divyam te dadami chakshu. In the next chapter, and frustratingly, we're going to end our semester when Sri Krishna shares this, and then you're going to have to wait a month before you tune into what Sri Krishna shows Prince Arjuna. And my point that I'm trying to make is, Prince Arjuna is growing out of, he's on his way to grow out of perceiving. And he's growing into, he will grow into feeling. To go from articles to awareness. Everyone's clear about that? This is his last reflection. And Sri Krishna starts to guide. As I read this verse, I'm going to read the verse and I'm going to read some of Pujya Swami Chinmayananda's writings for us to feel. So I'm requesting all of you to close your eyes. Just feel what I'm sharing. I know many of you are astute with taking notes. I will review more tomorrow. Verse 18. Vistarenatmano yogam vibhuti cha janardana bhuya kataya triptirhi shinvato nasti me mritam. Tell me again in detail, O Janardana, of your yoga power and imminent glory. For I do not feel satisfied by hearing your life-giving and nectar-like speech. A student of philosophy, and for that matter, a true student of any knowledge, should have first of all an insatiable thirst to understand, to know, and to appreciate. Without this appetite, no knowledge can be digested by the student with profit. This is especially so in the subjective science of self-development. For here, as nowhere else, the knowledge gained is to be not only digested and assimilated, but lived intensively. Therefore, the anxiety to listen, the jignasa, has been recognized as one of the noblest qualities, unavoidable for a fit student in Vedanta, if he were to be assured of any progress on the path of knowledge. This intoxication, vicariously experienced by the students, when a true teacher discourses upon the truth, is no doubt a temporary exhilaration, a passing mood of false peace which cannot stand in good stead when the student is left all alone to himself. Though this is not the end, this is a good beginning, no doubt, and those feeling a kick in the study of philosophy are certainly much more noble than the thousands that cannot even stand anywhere near a philosophical discourse discussing the divine. The tireless missionary in Krishna, with motherly patience, answers Arjuna. Stretch, inhale, open your eyes from inspiration to application. A recent application of yours was to share the 10 messages of Bhagavad Gita that relates to you. One of our seekers, Shobha from Virginia, she was sharing that before Bhagavad Gita, she couldn't handle being in silence. Now she's very comfortable with silence. That is a great message. Another was for you to identify your vibhutis. What is the greatest facets of your life? What Jignya from Alpharetta shared is that she's now over 45 years old, and now she feels like her life is beginning. That is a lovely thought. And she was sharing that she no longer aspires to fit in with anything, she only aspires to fit within. Another lovely thought. A vibhuti of mine, obviously, is Bhagavad Gita. I hope you also felt the same way. Another, for me, is walking. One of the greatest facets or experiences in my life is just to be able to walk. Because though I see a lot of diversity, I'm feeling unity. A oneness with nature, a oneness with my nature. Your application for today, every time you think of yourself, I want you to pray for another. Anytime you catch yourself thinking about, what am I going to eat? What are other people thinking about me? I want you to pause and pray for another by name. Today we prayed for our community by name. We do this all day. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joyous.